You're
It's
creative,
wonderful.
and the
It's-
people that you work with, they're creative. So how do you deal with contention?
Yeah, sometimes we have a very big conflict on stuff like that.
And
Oh,
are you
I've
quite
had-
confrontational?
Depending on the situation. I'll give you an example. You remember a film called Sadece Sen?
Yeah.
Remember that one? What, Ibrahim?
Yeah.
I somehow work with Ibrahim quite often, actually. When I was putting that together, I actually was the guy to select the director. I was the guy who advised the producer to
Who do you get?
Hakan, you'll not work on that movie. He's a very old friend of mine, and he's into commercials now, but back then he was doing a lot of clips. And I was working in one of the biggest Turkish music companies, seeing each other very often. And he'd always blab about it doing the movie. So the time came that I sort of took I said, here, this is the time. Look, I got something
put the
for
money
you.
where the mouth is.
Yeah, and I said, look, I got an opportunity for you. Just
Yeah.
think about it. And he said, what's the story? And I told him a bit about the story. And then I got the producers convinced.
Well, it's
And
on
then he got
Netflix.
involved.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
I've seen
It's
it.
very
Yeah,
popular.
well,
It's very successful. Too.
We ended up doing the movie, and at the end of it, like the last sort of
Yeah.
final mixing process where we finish off the audio. It was the last night. In the morning, the guy from Dolby is going to come and he's going to do the 5.1 surround Dolby thing, and that's it. It's over. And we got about 4 hours left, right? And we're listening to the pieces, watching the music, and listening to the music. And we come to the cemetery scene. The cemetery scene where she turns around and tells the story to the guy, and the guy starts freaking out. And he's going, "Oh, that was me who dropped the guy and that was burning, and you
Yes.
ended up getting blind." Well, anyway,
Yeah.
well, it's sort of the peak of the movie. It's the climax.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I didn't really listen to much of the director because he never really came around and told me, "Hey, you do this, do that." And I
Right.
said, "I wouldn't listen to him anyway because it's his first movie."
Right.
Anyway, I'm not going to listen to a guy. It's his first movie. And back then, that was like my 35th or 40th
Right.
movie. So while we were watching, he watched that because it was a big piece of music.
And he wasn't.
And he was sort of like watching, and he was going, "Oh, look, the music is really nice. It's very like it's big." But I don't know. How's about we do something smaller?
We did
right?
4 hours left.
And we got 4 hours left, right?
Oh.
And by the way, the funny thing about this is actually that was the last scene I did for the movie because for some reason I had completely forgot it and I just did it that day. It was something I put together that day and had it recorded, and it was just like a very spontaneous situation, right? I was just very lucky to get that in there in the first place. And I just turned around and said to him, "Hakan, is this your first movie?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I think it's my 30th, 35th movie." And I turned around. I saw one of the coordinators there. I said, "What do you think about this?" She turned around and said, "I think Hakan's right." I said, "You shut up."
Oh, no.
No, hold on. The producer's there. I said, "What do you think of it?" He's the guy paying. Hold on.
Yeah.
So I said, "What do you think about
Yeah.
this?" He goes, "I like it." "Okay, all right. You pay for it. You win."
And has your relationship salvaged?
As I said, he's a very old friend of mine. We're not holding grudges or anything,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure if he came around doing another movie, I'd be the first guy to call. By the way, it was a very appreciated piece of the movie as well. Everyone was very happy with that part.
Yeah.
I was happy with it too. For some reason, later on, I really liked it. Back then, when I was doing it, I was like, when you're really doing things quick, you just don't understand if you've done something good or not. I never really have the time to sit down and let the things sink in.